Perfect. Oops. Nice. Okay. Hi, it's me, Caleb, your friendly neighborhood Caleb. Okay, let's get started. So in this video today, I'm hoping to show you guys kind of how to do some awesome video editing stuff that will help you out in your own videos and stuff like that, using Final Cut Pro and Motion and that kind of thing. So, without further ado, let's get into it. Believe it or not, it took me more than one try to get this stream going, so I'm hoping the audio is working now. Video editing stuff that will help you out in your own... Nice. Sounds like it's working to me. Okay. So I'm going to, I guess, hopefully get you guys to learn how to make a stickman animation, and we'll do some masking and make a funny kind of Trump talking animation, and maybe do some motion tracking as well. So, first off, what I did, I've got my resources here on my desktop. I drew out a stickman in a couple different pieces. So I've got his head and his body, an arm, and there's a leg down there as well. And I drew it out on a piece of paper just with a black Sharpie marker and took pictures of it. And as you can see, they're not great pictures. That one's not too bad. But this body one is kind of blurry and whatever else. And that's okay. So, let's go into our Final Cut Pro. Start from scratch here. File, new project. There we go. And we'll call it Stickman. Oh, we already have one named Stickman. Let's call it Trump. Stickman Trump. There we go. Ta-da! Now we're going to grab our body parts, starting with, I guess, our head and our body. There we go. And for doing any kind of masking or keying, especially keying, I like to go down to generators and hit the iMovie generator right here and just drag it behind our clip. And that's a computer generated green screen, I guess. And so no matter how many times you layer this, it's its own color. Like, the computer will recognize it as itself. I guess I'll go over that more later, but basically, when you put that in the background of your video, it's really easy to remove that color. Or, let's say, I'm going to go down to masking and do maybe a shape mask on here. And I'll mask an area, I guess. Oop. And then throw something else. Actually, this is a better example. I'll take something that I've already used that iMovie background with, and I can go into keying, and I'll show you guys how to do all this. And I get rid of that green. It realizes, you know, it's really easy to remove as a background. Green screening. Anyway, this is poorly explained. I'll go over it more later. So, we've got our stickman body, and this is really easy to do. Like, I know shooting videos different times and whatever else takes a long time to get the clips all lined up and everything. So, shooting videos, these are some pretty easy to obtain resources. Just a Sharpie, piece of white computer paper, and a camera. I think these were taken with my phone. Here. Let's get rid of... Oops. Nice. Just so that you guys can see this area a little better. So yeah, we have our stickman body and head, and we have our green screen behind it. Next, we're going to key out the paper behind the drawing. So the nice thing is, the paper is the exact, pretty much opposite color of the marker. White and blacks are opposites, so it should be very easy to remove that paper right back there. Yeah, just like that. Grab our sample color and just draw squares of where the paper was, just so that it knows what it's removing. And you can draw edges and stuff as well. You can do this kind of thing to protect your drawing, but it doesn't affect too much in our example. It's not needed too much. So, there we go. Yeah, you would use that kind of stuff a little bit more when you're using a real green screen and something with lots of different colors, like a person in front of the green screen. Regardless, here's our little stick man. Now let's give him some arms and legs. So we grab ourselves an arm and do the exact same thing. Key it. And then grab a sample. Oh. There we go. Oh, we keyed it twice. I see what's wrong there. Yeah. Okay, key it. Grab a sample of the paper. That's a little long. Let's make his arms, scaled to size. Nice. And then I'm just going to go Command C and Command V and copy and paste that. So now there's two arms here. Drag the other one out and flip it around, just like that. So now we've got two arms. And I know I've seen people, or I've even done it myself, where I've drawn all the limbs rather than just, one arm, one leg kind of thing, just to make it a little bit more different and distinct and whatever. But this works fine for our example. So he's got two arms, a head, a body, and if you look closely, his arms overlap his body. So it really depends on how you want to do it, but I like it, just personal preference. Oh. When his body is over top of his arms. That's just me. Nice. So you can see that right there. Awesome. Next, we're going to do our leg. It's the exact same process. Key that leg. We keyed it twice again. perfect. And there we go. It's a nice looking leg. I don't call myself an artist by any means. I can't draw. Can hardly do any kind of like computer art. But editing is fun. Copy and paste that and just drag it to where we need it to be for the second leg. And then, once again, just swap it and angle it. Nice. There's our stickman. So, now what you can do is you can save an image of that, put it on your desktop, there we go, that'll show up in a second, and you can take that green screen stickman that you assembled and you can actually throw it on top of your videos. So if I was, for example, I'll take this, oh, there we go, Trump picture here that I screenshotted from, I think, Jimmy Kimmel interview. And we take our stickman and we throw it right over top, layering it. We can key out that green background and we can put that stickman right in our video. Of course, these are two pictures, so nothing is moving, but it makes a cool little I don't know, image if you wanted to use this kind of stuff for channel art or anything like that. Put a little stickman in his hand, like that. A little harder to see. We can make him stand on the microphone maybe. You can toy around with all kinds of ideas, but there you go. That's your stickman. Another thing that you can do, just while I'm doing this, I guess, is to make your stickman a little bit easier to see. You can add some sort of effect to the clip behind it. What do we want to do? Just solely for the fact of making that stickman easier to see. You can blur the background behind it so you can't see that stickman, or you can see that stickman a little better. You can tint it black and white, a color. You do something like that. That makes him a little easier to see. The red. You just don't want to do it too much because you want your stickman to still blend into the frame. So, whatever you want to do there, it's pretty cool. That's what you can do with that stickman. But we're not done yet. We want our stickman to wave like I showed you at the beginning of the video. At the beginning of this stream. So how do we do that? Well, let's find the arm that we want to make it wave. This one right here. We're going to make this arm, I guess, flip and come up kind of in a raised hand position. And maybe we'll make it shake back and forth just so that he's kind of waving. So let's maybe not start at the very beginning frame. I don't like to do that. We'll start a couple, maybe half a second in, and we use our keyframe button right here. Now keyframing is saving a specific frame in your clip, so I clicked it right here, and then you can jump up a little bit in your frame, maybe somewhere about here, and make changes, and it will animate it to what you have in that future frame. So I'm going to take, this hand, flip it in that position, make sure it's about the same size, angle it a little bit, and you can have him do that, just like that. There you go. That one worked pretty well, just because my anchor point right here is about the center of his arm, and just the way that played out here, it didn't end up too bad. But I want to show you guys another technique, or another, precaution you can take just to make it a little smoother. So, let's go back, and I'm just going to remove that keyframe, remove this one, and we'll start over. First, what I like to do, and I did this in my video, how to make a drawing come to life. You can see that one on YouTube if you want. I can show that on my channel later. Go ahead and check that one out. It's a good video for learning how to do this kind of stuff as well. But if I move the anchor point, I guess, a little bit more towards the part of the arm where it's connecting to the body, there we go. Zoom in a little bit. That's good enough. Then when the arm rotates, it looks a little bit more connected to the body. Move it up just a little bit. Cool. Now let's try that keyframing thing again. So we're about half a second into the clip. Right over to maybe about here. We'll flip it, and we'll angle his arm out, and it will animate his arm just like this. There you go. A little bit more smooth. So let's export that. We'll just call that one Stickman, maybe Wave. Ta-da! And while that's going on, let's work on our Trump head. Get rid of all of this. Now, I took Trump's head right here like this, or I guess this picture of Trump, and you can go into your masking, just like that. Oh, looks like I drew two masks again. And there's 5 different types of masking here in Final Cut Pro. The 5 different kinds, I guess, are pretty self-explanatory by their names, but my favorite is Draw Mask. Now, drawing a mask, I guess, is just as it sounds. You're drawing little points to cut out your image. But before we go any further, like shape masks are specific shapes. Here's our clip. A vignette mask is like a fade in, or I guess it dissolves in an oval shape from the corners. Gradient mask. And what a mask is it basically separates that portion of the clip, or from the, I guess that clip from the rest of it. And so you can either only have that part of it, or everything but that part of it. I'll show you what I mean. If I cut out Trump's head here, just like that, you can look up close and see I didn't do a very good job, but that's okay. Yeah. And it only separates that part of the clip. Or, if I invert it, everything but that portion of it. So next, when you zoom in a little bit closer, you can see in the settings, there's a couple different, I guess, shape types, is what they call them. And it's basically the lines connecting the dots here. Linear is self-explanatory, they're lines. Bezier, I guess, Bezier or something like that. I don't notice much of a difference from linear with that one. I haven't experimented enough, I guess, because I don't know what the difference is. B-spline is what I like to use, though. And it curves off, or it rounds off the lines like that. So it makes it look a little bit more clean, a little bit more fleshy, realistic, natural, however you want to do that. And then you can feather the image, which is, I guess, fading it either in or out from where you cut it out. And fall off, which is the same thing on a very small level. You can see it right up Trump's nose. No, just kidding. You can see it right on the edge there. Right there. Anyway. So once you've cut out Trump's head, or once I've cut out Trump's head, throw a green screen behind him, and do the same thing. Save and save the current frame. I did a little bit better job of it earlier, so I think I'm going to use my earlier version. So we'll get rid of that. This one just looks a little cleaner. And what I'm going to do next is the exact same thing, just lots of masking. But instead, this time we're going to cut out Trump's mouth. Something like this. I've seen it a lot on Franklin D. Roosevelt, I think it is, in Epic Rap Battles, and different channels like that. They're used for a lot of cheesy video effects, but also a lot of useful ones as well. We invert that one, and now we've cut out the bottom one and we've removed it from the top one, the exact same mask. Oops. So that when we select the right clip, we can actually move his mouth in and out like this. So what you do is you do the exact same thing as we did with the Stickman, where we go keyframe, and I'm going to go down into the transform tab down here and maybe change the X component of his mouth so that it moves out like this. But first, I guess maybe we want it to be closed, and then a little further in the clip we'll move his mouth out. 10x, negative 20y, just like that, on kind of a 45-degree angle. and then even further in the clip, and we'll just move it back. So now, it looks kind of like this. Nice. And I also did one of these earlier, so maybe we'll use my other video. Not that there's much difference, but it's about the same thing. The only difference is this one is probably a little slower, just because I spaced out my my keyframes a little bit more. So we'll get rid of that, and we'll go to our Stickman video. Oh, my battery's dying. There's our Stickman. Nope, that's our Stickman. Stickman Wave. This was the other one. My example that I showed at the beginning. Okay. So here's our Stickman that we made wave. Just like that. And then what I forgot to do at the end of the other clip, or when we were editing this, is to get rid of that extra green space right there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to right about here. Let me close my window. And plug in the computer. Now I'm going to go back to the last frame where that Stickman was. Right here. And then when I press Command B, it splits my clip into two. So you can separate and you can manipulate this one. In this case, I'm going to delete it. And now what we're left with is our Stickman raising his hand, which is exactly what we want. Next, let's grab our talking Trump. And when we play the clip now, that's not exactly right. So let's go over and key our Trump head. Here we go. When you double click on it, it just adds it to your clip. And we can take a sample of the green in the background of the Trump head if you really want to. But like I said at the beginning of the video, it automatically chooses the greens or the blues in your clip that are more commonly used for green screening or blue screening. So it won't take any of Trump's face here. Either way, better to be safe than sorry. But it's nice that way. That's why I like using this iMovie background. Okay. So now, when we play it, Trump's head kind of appears and then disappears. So you could, take Trump's head and just line it right up on top of the body. But we're not going to do that. To make it a little bit better, a little bit more seamless, we're going to take this Stickman clip and we're going to cut out its head. So we go Masks, Draw Mask. You could use a shape mask, but I like to use the draw masks better. They're a little bit easier to manipulate. And right where his hand is raised, I'm going to stop there, just so that I can use his hand as a reference so I don't cut out his hand as well. We'll go around his head. And his head doesn't move at all, so it doesn't really matter. The only thing that we have to watch out for is that one arm. There we go, and we'll just invert that so that there's no head whatsoever. And then, if we throw the iMovie background in there, it blends perfectly so that you don't see any of the head in there. Nice. So that's our headless stickman. And last, but definitely not least, oops, let's not draw a mask on our Trump head. Last but definitely not least, let's throw Trump on top. That's where he likes to be. Maybe we'll angle his head up just a little bit. Gotta make his head a little bigger. Trump's got a big head. Nice. So now, when we play the clip, Trump shows up, opens his mouth, disappears, and we have this extra blank green stuff. So let's get rid of the green. And there's two things that we could do. We could either take a clip of our Trump head with his mouth closed and try to make it as seamless as possible in the position where this Trump head is, so that it smoothly goes from that picture to here, out to that picture again. Or we can do something which is a little bit easier, and I'm going to do it this time. You can take this Trump clip right here, and I'm going to extend the green again. Thought I didn't think I was going to use it again. And go to the very first frame here, where our Trump's head is still connected, or where his body is still, where his mouth is still closed. And we'll save this frame as maybe Trump head, whatever, it doesn't really matter. As long as it has a unique name. And then we'll move Trump right back to where he was and get rid of this green again. Finally, here's a little Trump head gobbledygook. When we drop our Trump head in, just like this, you can go on either side of it, just because we don't need this portion, and it'll smoothly transition right into itself, just like that. And then let's key out that green on the Trump head. Sheesh, I've said Trump head far too many times in this video. Nice. Now when we play it all the way through, Trump opens and closes his mouth, and that's where it ends. But just to show you guys a few more things, let's carry this out a little bit more. You can take this Stickman clip, and I'm just going to copy Control-C and paste it, Control-V, or Command-V. and extend the green out to the end of that one. You can go up to modify, retime, and reverse the clip, and this just makes it play backwards. And I'll throw Trump's head. Since this is a picture, we can extend it all the way to the end as well. So now he'll raise his hand, talk, lower his hand because it's reversed, and there you go. One more thing, just because, just to show you guys what you can use this kind of stuff for, is I guess different changes that you could make. You can have Trump obviously raise or open and close his mouth more than once and at different speeds. So we could go modify, retime, and maybe double time it. Or you can actually right click on it, double click. You can double click on it and set a custom speed for however fast you want it to be compared to where it was. And then he'll open and close his mouth just like that. So you could copy that, paste it, and just trim this one back a little bit so that there's no overlap. Just like that. But just to finish off our little project, we can go over into my internet and this website. I'm going to show you guys two websites here for downloading sounds or different things like that for my videos. I've used both websites frequently. This one's called Sound Bible. You can go in and you can just type a word to try and find something that Trump might say.
Hello! I love Daddy.
And a lot of the sounds on this website, I have to admit, are a little bit weird and useless. But every once in a while you find a good one.
Hello. Hello.
That you can use.
Hey.
So maybe let's say we use this one. And I'm just going to go and download the MP3. So you click on the sound and you click the MP3.
Hey.
There we go.
Hey. Here. Hey. Hey.
And it'll want to open my iTunes and stuff like that. Okay. So this is our sound. The other website that I recommend checking out, this one I definitely recommend checking out, they have great resources, is FootageCrate.com. And FootageCrate is full of video effects and sound effects, music, tutorials. They're an awesome website for this kind of thing. This is where I get most of my video effects. And they add new effects to their website frequently. There's a huge library of free effects, and then if you get a pro account, you can download even more, usually cooler video effects from there as well. And it's not a huge investment. I think, yeah, it's about $40 a year kind of thing. And all their effects are very professional and that kind of thing. So we could go in here and most of their effects, not many of them have voices, but there are a lot of sound effects or music, that kind of thing. And all of it is either free or usable with their pro account. And so anything that you download from here, you can throw into your video and monetize it or gain revenue from it, no problem. So let's go into our downloads, grab our kid effect where he says, hey, and just drag that underneath here.
Hey. Hey. Yeah. Hey. Hey.
And there's a lot of sounds in there that we don't need, but we'll get rid of that later. First, let's find the frame where Trump first opens his mouth. We can maybe put it right here, let's say.
Hey.
Just like that. And we'll end the clip, so we'll go Control B, or Command B, sorry, my bad. Command B. And then, just to make it sound a little better, you can roll, you can fade in and out the audio on the clip.
Hey.
Just like that. So we can export that video. Saying, hey. There we go. So here's our video, I guess. I can play that.
Hey.
Awesome. So that's just about it for today. One more thing that I could show you guys is in Motion here that I have open. I'm not going to touch too much on Motion today, but you can open a Motion project and use that little Trump stick figure, Motion right here, in a clip. So if I can find a clip, video clip, I don't have a shaky video clip right now. How about let's zoom out a little bit. And I just drag the clip in here. You can make your stick man look like he's standing, kind of like I did in my video, how to make a drawing come to life, which is a great resource as well. It goes over about the same kind of thing that I showed you today, just in a little bit more of a montage type form. But go ahead and check this video out. I used Motion to do the same kind of motion tracking that I did in that video as well. So I'll show you a clip there.
Of the harmful foods I'm going to show you right now are labeled and marketed as health foods.
Ads. Right here, this kind of motion tracking. And so you can watch the rest of that video, and it's actually a really cool resource. But I guess thanks for watching, guys, and don't forget to subscribe, leave a like. Let me know what you think about this video. And I'll see you next time. Alright?